Why do so many people think a damaged coin is a mint error? I understand that people don't know about mint errors or the minting process, but you have to think when you find an odd looking coin, why is the first step is to thinking it's a mint error? I mean, I guess maybe I'm being a little jaded, but if I go to Kroger and I see a dented can of soup, I know that that didn't come from the manufacturer like that. I mean, it wasn't made like that on purpose. That it was actually damaged because the can of soup's not supposed to look like that. And when I see a coin that's been dented or caught in a mechanism, it's damaged to me. I wouldn't think that it come from the mint like that. I understand that there are mint errors out there that look similar to that, and I think that's a lot of the problem. But there are some damaged coins that it just should be obvious that it's damaged, whether it's scratched or, I mean, when you compare it to other metals or other objects that you see, like someone keys a car, you know that that car was damaged. It wasn't made like that from the plant or from Ford Motor Company or Chevy or whatever car it is. You know, if it was in a wreck and it's dented, you know that the bumper wasn't supposed to be that way. It doesn't make it a manufacturing error. So I understand to this point that the mint does have manufacturing errors that make a coin worth more. And I think that's where people are getting tripped up. But we see it all the time. But why, if something doesn't look like a mint error, like any mint error out there, people still hang on to the fact that it's a mint error? Like I said, I know some look similar, but some people are like, I can't find this anywhere. I don't see any example of this on the internet. I've looked everywhere. Well, that should tell you that's your first clue, your main clue, that that is not a mint error and that it is damage. Because we know and have pictures of what mint errors are. We know what they are, how they're made, where they're made in the minting process. And we, like people say, I found a discovery coin. Well, you might have found a new clip on a 2024, 2025, whatever comes out next, a coin. But that doesn't mean it's a discovery in a sense that it's a new mint error. It's still a mint error we know about. It's just on a coin date that we haven't seen yet. You can call that a discovery, but you're not going to discover a brand new mint error unless it's something like the edge lettering, missing edge lettering, or double edge lettering on a presidential dollar whenever they never used the edge lettering devices before that. So yes, if there's a new process added to the minting process, then you can find a new error. But typically, what's there to find? Not new errors. So it's important to know what errors can happen. But I think the main thing for me is this. When you are out and about, look around you. Look at if you're shopping, look at the buggy you're pushing around, the metal. Is there dents in the metal? Go to a gas station when you are pumping your gas and you see little dings all over the handle on when you're taking your pumping your gas or the countertops. We see surfaces of metal all the time, and you will see dents, scrapes, gouges. If that's what your coin looks like, more than likely it's probably not a mint error. That's the whole reason I'm doing this video, trying to open up the minds of people who, when you're looking around you, you see damaged things all the time. And it's best to correlate your coin with the damage you see all the time and see if it compares to that. Because just because it's a coin doesn't make it more special. It's still a piece of metal with a design on it. And when it can be damaged the same way as any other object out there that doesn't come from the U.S. Mint. Now I'm going to show you a few examples of what I'm talking about here. Over here on the help community, we see a huge amount of coins posted. I'm talking on a regular basis, a daily basis, all day long, which I'm grateful for, and that's what I want people to do. I want them to come to this community and post their coin images and ask questions. But at what point, when you can't find it somewhere, that this is a mint error to you? You know, I know that the back looks like and it shows the back, it looks like it's not been damaged, but it has been damaged. There's plenty of damage here on this coin that's not a mint error. Dents and dings are not damage. Sometimes people's eyes might fool them, optical illusions, make them think that it's raised, it might be a die dent or something like that. I do understand that, but anything that happens to the die must be incused into the die to make a raised area on a coin. That's why die chips are raised. That's why die cracks are raised. That's why the design itself is raised, because it's into the die. It's either dented into the die, scraped into the die, or it's actually impressed into the die during the squeeze method to create that working die. So when you see something on a coin that is incuse and it's not supposed to be part of the design, then you know that it's not from the die. You should know. This is why it's important to know the coin minting process. This is why it's important to look at places like error-ref.com, Heritage Sold Auctions, Stack Sold Auctions for the mint errors. And when you don't see your coin there, more than likely it's not a mint error. Doesn't mean you don't post it, I guess. I mean, I think that's where a lot of the frustration for people, they know immediately when they see this coin, if you have any experience at all, this coin is obviously damaged. And I think I said, people don't mean to be jaded. They don't mean to be rude, but it just, they're so used to seeing this stuff every single day. You've got all these Facebook groups, all these help communities. You've got all these forums, all this information and resources out there, and they see this stuff posted constantly. But we have to remember that each person that's posting this stuff may have never seen a mint error in their life. They have no idea. They see an odd coin and are just posting and asking about it because they heard that some mint errors are worth money. Now, there are some people who are habitual about it. They have all these damaged coins and they keep posting and posting and posting, and people get frustrated with them because they're not really doing research. That causes kind of a conundrum for everybody, because you want to be polite. You want to act like that every person is brand new, don't know anything about it. Here's another thing. Here's another example. Someone posts and asks questions about a coin without posting images. We have to have images. Very important. Here's another example. This one here. Now, see, I can understand it. This is kind of an error, but it's so common to see missing letters, missing numbers, missing parts of the design. That's what a floating roof is. This is not missing off the die, so it's not going to make it a variety. This was a plug die, and it didn't strike the letters because there was some type of polishing compound or grease or something in the die, goop in the die cavity, and then it wore. So it looks like it wasn't on the die, right? But it's not. This is a minor error. It is an error. Some people do collect them. Here is a close-up. But this coin circulated after it was struck through goop. So it's basically a strike through, a minor strike through that you see a lot. Other examples is this right here. This was posted. This person's posted a bunch of damaged coins. This was Vice did this. To give you an example of what we're talking about when it comes to that kind of a vice, there are diamond-shaped vices, and it will do this to a coin. So it's not a mint error. It's not waffled. It's not anything like that. We see coins like this posted. This person's asking if this is on the incorrect planchet because it weighs a little bit less than 3.1 grams. No, this is just a damaged coin that has been worn, so it's lost a little bit of metal. That means it's damaged. It's not on an incorrect planchet. If a coin weighs what it's supposed to weigh, it's not on an incorrect planchet. And that's another thing. You always got to weigh your coins. Here's another example. It's just damage. If this was a pop can, if this was a car, if this was just any other piece of metal, would you think that it was an error? But because it has a coin design on it and a date, people automatically think it's an error and don't really do any critical thinking. They're not really being objective. They're being subjective. Oh, I found something cool. Maybe this is something. And there's nothing wrong with trying to get it checked out. But I see so many people, they're excited. They think they found something that's going to help them pay for surgery or a car or to help their kids in college. I see it so many times, and I disappoint them whenever they try to call me on the phone or they send me emails or they come to the help community or they come into the coin shop. I see it on their faces. And you just can't get yourself so excited about something you think is a mint error and it's going to make you some money, because most mint errors are not going to pay for things. Perfect example. If you go to Heritage Sold Auctions, you will see most errors are not going to pay for much. They're not going for that much. eBay, same thing. Yes, someone might have something listed for thousands of dollars, but that does not mean that it's worth a bunch of money. Now, this is a new one. This guy's asking, this person's asking if it's a rusted die or something like that. I mean, he's on the right track of thinking, since it's grainy looking, that there's sandblasted dies, there's things like that. So I can understand thinking this is potentially a mint error. But it has been chemically altered. Someone's either used acid on it or some type of corrosive, or it's been exposed to something. Okay, so this would be a damaged coin. This wasn't the die itself that struck this coin. It's not what it looked like. You can see a lot of examples of rusted and pitted dies over on Van World with Morgan dollars because a lot of those dies rusted at the mints and they used them. Some of them were pitted. This is not what they look like. So it's always good to do a little bit of research, look up pitted dies, look up, like error-ref.com, look at my site. I've got a little mint error app too. Might help you out a little bit. Here's another example of someone posting pictures of a microscope screen, which you can't hardly see anything with the lines when you blow it up. We ask people not to take pictures of their screens. We ask that you take the SD card out, load it up to your computer, and then upload the images from your computer. That's the best way of doing this. Plus, they didn't post the whole coin or front and back or the package. I know what this is. Where the mint cello was being crimped to seal it, because this is a 65 SMS set and they came in mint cello, the coin got in the way and got crimped. And that's basically what this is. So it's packaging damage. It's not a mint error. Unless they did it at the mint, you can prove it. I think they outsource a lot of this. But anyway, the bottom line is considered a packing area, considered damage to the coin. But it's better to have an image of the entire package, front and back of the coin. That's another thing that frustrates people. It takes up a lot more time because then I got to comment that down here, a bunch of us, or a couple of us. Then we got to wait for it to be posted again so we can be sure. It doubles the time it takes to help somebody. That's another thing that frustrates people trying to help. I mean, it's not that people want to have an attitude with you when you're trying to get help. It's not that at all, but we do have certain stipulations, these guidelines that help us help you better. That's why we do have rules. This one here is another thing. If you saw, like I said, a soup can dented like this, you wouldn't think that it came from the Campbell Soup Company like this. If you see a crack in a car windshield, you know for a fact that that's a crack. That's not a defect, a manufacturing defect to make it worth money. Same thing with boxes of cereal if it's something's printed wrong on it. I mean, it goes hand in hand. This coin is obviously jammed and damaged. Some type of mechanical damage or someone hit it with a hammer. They could have got stuck in a coin mechanism. Who knows? It's definitely post-mint damage. And that's like I said, people see this stuff all the time. Here's another example. We'll open this up. This is what we call the ring of death. Whenever you see a round ring like this on a coin, you know that it's a roll crimp damage. Basically, the crimping machine will show you what they look like. When they're crimping, sometimes they'll scrape that coin. And you'll see that. That's what happens. And like I said, we help people as much as we can over here. We're as patient, as helpful as any help group out there. Very rarely do we show frustrations, but sometimes we might. But it's kind of hard whenever we see people day in and day out thinking that a damaged coin is an error. And sometimes it's not that it's the new person, it's the person that's habitual about it. I see it in the groups a lot. They're like, look, you've posted 5 or 6 damaged coins in a row here, and you haven't done any research. That's where the frustration comes in. So do your research. Do buy some books on mint error, the coin minting process. Stay away from eBay, what people are trying to sell coins for on eBay. Stay away from any of these social media sites where people are trying to sell coins for a crazy amount of money, or any of these apps. Don't use the apps. Actually go to an expert's coin website. My site is one example of that, but you can go to, like I said, error-ref.com, varietyvista.com, join Coneca. If you join Coneca, that's like I said, it's CONECA. Go to coneca.org, join that. You'll get actual publications, and they've got a forum there. They've got resources in terms of Variety Vistas, connected to that site. And you can actually look things up like this and ask questions, just like you can on our site. And you can contact experts there. They actually, some of them accept submissions, and they can help you attribute your errors. But what we do need to be patient with everyone. It's just kind of hard to think that some people think some of these coins are not damaged first. That's the best thing you should do. Any book that I've read says first think it's damaged. Prove that it's not damaged first. See if it can be done in your shop, at home, or with a hammer, or with a vise, or glue on it. Put glue, you got to think that direction first, not mint error first. So anyways, hopefully this might help you out a little bit, put some things in perspective. But thanks for watching my latest video. Please like, share, and comment, and have a great day.